How are you doing? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Doreen Muracha, the founder of I Am a Beautiful Story, an online-based HIV and AIDS anti-stigma campaign that is aimed at giving you the right and correct information on matters HIV while fighting HIV and AIDS stigma as we change the narrative surrounding HIV and AIDS. This is the very last Friday of the month of love, which is February. And if you did not start this year with love, you are going to find love at some point. Do not worry. Okay? So today, our video once again is proudly sponsored by Mtandao Varsity. Mtandao Varsity is an initiative for young people, by young people, that is aimed at giving soft skills to young people so that they can be able to know what is going to make them employable. They have hosted a series of successful A-list people in the career world. And if you want a little bit of motivation, how to advance career-wise, how to get a job, what soft skills do employers look for, please subscribe to the YouTube channel of Mtandao Varsity, follow them across the social media platforms, and get to understand what exactly they look for. Because lately they did a very interesting video with Terry and Chebet, so you can actually not miss that, okay? Please follow them. I have a new interesting video, and it's about treatment fatigue. When you get tired of taking your ARVs, what happens? Will you die? Will you stop living? Will you get more opportunistic infections? What really happens when you stop taking your ARVs? So recently, I had a conversation with a friend of mine. She's also living with HIV like me. And she was telling me she has never defaulted from her ARVs. And I'm like, huh? Really? For real? I never knew that there was a young person that has never, ever defaulted from the ARVs. Because I have been on ARVs from April 2005. And the 16 years that I have been on ARVs have been good, bad, and ugly, and a very bumpy ride. And I'm wondering, how can you not? Because she has been on ARVs, I think, almost the same time as me. And I'm like, like I was really shocked. I did not expect that from a young person, because almost all the young people who I interact with have stopped taking their ARVs at one point or another. But unfortunately, there are other young people who take their treatment very seriously. So when you are tired of your ARVs, what really happens? Because recently when the news broke up about the approval of the injectable ARVs, a lot of us were very happy, me included, because I am a serial defaulter. I have been a serial defaulter in the past, and I have defaulted my ARVs for as long as 2 years. So definitely that is something I know is going to be a game changer in terms of adherence, in terms of reducing HIV and AIDS stigma, and in terms of achieving the last 90, which is keeping a suppressed viral load. The last 90 in this case means the UNAIDS target of 90-90-90, though it increased to 95-95-95 after some countries such as Eswatini were able to surpass the 90-90-90. 90% of people knew the HIV status, 90% of people were on ARVs, and 90% of people were undetectable or were virally suppressed. So the last 90 is the viral suppression. So what happens when you take your ARVs? So let me start step by step. I'm going to read a small article by Arvs. So ARVs reduce the level of HIV in your blood so that it cannot damage your immune system. So that is the role of ARVs in your blood. If you do not take your medication correctly at the right time every day, there is an importance that comes with taking your ARVs at the right time. So if you choose that I'm going to take my ARVs at 10 in the morning, ensure that it is 10 in the morning every other day. Okay? If you change to 9 because 10 is not working, ensure that it is 9 every other day without stopping. The importance of time is so that you don't give HIV a chance, because you know once the ARVs are able to control and contain the HIV virus, it is always looking for a way to avoid containment. So ensure that it is always at the same exact time so that it does not get ways of escaping. Okay, because the minute you leave yourself for so long without taking your ARVs, then the virus realizes the thing that contains us is not here, and then it comes out and it's now start multiplying, and in some cases it can mutate from the very strain of HIV that you have into something else, because the HIV virus is a smart virus. So it is always trying to find ways of fighting your immune system. That is why you have to ensure that you take your medication every day at the same exact time. So you can't take medication today. I just say today at 10, tomorrow at 11, next week you say now today I am taking at 7. That lacks consistency and proper adherence, and that is why some people are on ARVs but they are not virally suppressed. So the level of HIV in your blood may increase and the treatment may stop working. That leads to developing drug resistance. When you don't take your medication correctly and consistently at the same time, then you might be exposing yourself to drug resistance. Okay? Regular blood tests will show if your treatment is working by measuring the level of HIV in your blood, that is the viral load, and the strength of your immune system, which is the CD4 count. So a lot of us think that being undetectable is saying, hey, I take my ARVs every day and I'm undetectable. No, that is why you need the tests done regularly. Most of the time, the CD4 count and viral load tests are done after every 6 months to show the progress and how the treatment is working. And those are not the only tests done. There are tests for the plasma, for your blood levels, for your red blood cells, for your bone marrow, for your liver and kidney functions. So you can just see they are removing blood and they're putting them in different test tubes, but because they're going to test for different things, because those are usually very comprehensive tests to show how you are responding to treatment. If you have side effects that do not go away or your treatment stops working, your healthcare provider can advise you to change to a different combination of ARV drugs. So, why is it important to take your medication every day? ARVs keep HIV under control. So, it is important for you to keep your HIV virus under control. It helps you with being healthy. It helps you with living a normal life. It helps you with leading a life that has no diseases or little diseases. Because when you don't take your ARVs, you're opening yourself up to more opportunistic infections. If you stop taking your HIV drugs, then your viral load will go up. It multiplies. My viral load, the highest it has ever reached was 200,000 copies. That was when I was not taking my medication. So this means HIV can damage your immune system and that you're more likely to pass HIV on. So when your viral load goes up, you're more likely to infect someone, you're more likely to get more opportunistic infections, and you're more likely to develop HIV from HIV to AIDS. And once it reaches the AIDS stage, then it is so hard for you to control it back. By this time, you might have gotten TB, meningitis, pneumonia, and those opportunistic infections might end up killing you. So the role of taking ARVs every day, I know it is a very cumbersome task, and I do not say that it is easy. It's not. I have been there for 16 years. It is not easy. It is not easy. But it is for you to every day try and find the strength in you. Try and find the meaning and willingfulness of yourself to live. Live every day like it's your last day. Because you need to live. You need to wake up and just live your life unapologetically. Because if you stop taking your ARVs, then you're just committing suicide.
That is what I can tell you. And you're just cutting your life short for no apparent reason and giving yourself more complications, because the more you invite drug resistance into your life by not being consistent on your ARVs, then you're also limiting your chances of the number of ARVs you can use, because the ARVs that you cannot use, some combinations you can't use them. And then as time goes by, you realize that there is no treatment that is working for you. Remember that in Africa, our ARVs, especially in Kenya, our ARVs are donated. So if the donor, the medication the donor is giving us is not working for you like all of them, then you might end up with 0 options of ARVs on your side, okay? So it is important to take your treatment correctly, the right dose, at the right time, with or without food. That depends with the regimen you are on. For this regimen DTG, you can't take it on an empty stomach. This regimen is very strong. When you take it on an empty stomach, and especially if you're newly diagnosed, sometimes it may give you nausea, vomiting, and even diarrhea. So do not take this medication on an empty stomach. I am speaking from an experience point of view. Most doctors, I have seen people in my inbox telling me, but my doctor said I can take it anytime. But your doctor does not take ARVs, do they? We are the people who take ARVs. We are the end user. And I am speaking from an experienced perspective as an end user. Don't take DTG on an empty stomach. At least take tea or porridge or something, and then you can go ahead and take your ARVs, okay? The DTG regimen, for those of us who are on the DTG regimen. If you know there will be change to your normal routine, for example, if you're going to stay away from home, then plan what you can do to keep taking your treatment on time. For example, you might set an alarm. You might travel with your medication. If you're going to travel, just travel with, even if you're going for 3 days, carry like medication for like 7 days. Things can happen, okay? So, you might get tired, okay? You might get tired. I know I'm giving you tips on how to avoid getting tired with while on ARVs, but you might get tired, and it's realistic. It's a thing, and it happens to a lot of people. But even if you get tired, remember that you have a will to live. I just said remember. Remember that you only live once. You only have one life, and it's not a rehearsal. It's real. We are doing this once and for all. So take your ARVs. Even when you feel tired, tell yourself, Doreen has been doing this journey for 16 years. We can do it. Okay? A lot of you tell me, Doreen, I am tired of taking my ARVs. But imagine the only person who can cure you from being tired of taking ARVs is also you. So look at the ARVs and find purpose. Because basically your life is in this container. Your life is in this container. Your life is controlled by these small drugs, whether you like it or not. It's the realistic aspect. But also, as much as it's controlled by this, you also get to live your life every day like a normal person. You also get to defy the narrative that HIV is a death sentence, because it's not. Remember when people used to get thin, lose hair, and die? That is not the narrative we have in 2021. In 2021, we have healthy individuals taking the ARVs unapologetically. So when you are tired of taking your ARVs, remember that there's somebody who died without even seeing the ARVs. Remember there are people who died without even being able to start their medication. And there is you who has the privilege of taking ARVs, of living life, of being able to see your children grow up, go to school, and fulfill their dreams, or being able to travel the world and be able to achieve every dream you have ever wished to achieve. And that person is you. So wake up every morning encouraging yourself that you can do this, okay? You can always do this. That is me coming to the end of this video and wishing you the very best as you take your ARVs. Let us continue being virally suppressed, being healthy, and living our lives unapologetically. We are greater than HIV. Bye-bye. See you next week.